New morning show. It is January 3rd of 2022, and Free Market and I are just so excited to be back on stage with you all. It has been a wild weekend. January 1st did not disappoint, and here we are 3 days into January, and it feels like almost that peak euphoria stage, honestly. This has been a wild beginning of the year, and we don't even know where to start talking about, so let's just do the intro. I am R2Degen, and as always, I am joined with me by the Lemon King himself, Free Market Capitalist.
GMPNWGMI
SOS, whatever, all of the other ones. Yes.
All the abbreviations apply today.
Every abbreviation except NGMI applies today. That is 100% true. And it has been, like I said, a great start to the year. New Year's Eve happened on Friday night. And, did you get up to anything?
I celebrated with my family. I am a boomer now, so that's what we do. I know that the young King Tropics was DJing some pretty sick things and invited me, and hopefully I'm going to be able to do that next year. But I had a young kid. It was fabulous. I really enjoyed spending it with the people I love.
Yeah, you just sat back, enjoyed some time with the fam, and took it easy.
I did.
I cannot say that I cannot say that I did the same. We went out and had some drinks, just a small group of us. Obviously, there's still some COVID things going on and whatnot, especially here in Ontario. It's looking pretty rough, but yeah, just a small group of friends. We had some drinks, played some games, and it was a great night. I couldn't have asked for a better New Year's Eve, and couldn't have asked for a better New Year's Day at this point. So
pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's just incredible stuff. So yeah, on that note, I mean, we've got tons to cover, so we might as well just get right into it. Kick it off with our usual crypto overview. And honestly, that is much of the same since we last were here on December 31st, whatever day that was. Bitcoin has been trading sideways for that time. I mean, it's still down on the 7-day charts, but for the past I would say 72 hours, looking fine. Ethereum seems to have crossed over that 3,800 threshold, but not by a whole lot. Everything just kind of seems to be even Steven for crypto. And as we always talk about, crypto goes sideways, NFTs go up. What's your take on what's going on right now?
Well, I'll tell you, R2, this happens to me often around the new year. I think that's when the angels decide to visit.
You had a lemonition.
I had a premonition. A lemonition.
A lemonition.
Yes, see? I like this. What a punny thing the lemons are. But yes, I had a lemonition. I hope you're not a big coin person, because I do believe that both Bitcoin and Ethereum will end this year lower than they are now. I think we're going to get a massive sideways chop. We're going to have some pretty intense moments where it looks like one of the sides is winning. We'll have some violent breakouts both ways, but we will remain within a range. I don't think we're going to break above 5K or below 3K this year, but I do think we're going to end a little lower than we are now. This is a ripe environment for NFTs. I think that we are seeing the perfect storm brewing here, with celebrities moving into NFTs in a huge way.
Yep.
The popular lexicon and mainstream mind share is quickly shifting towards this meta. And I think we're moving into a huge consolidation and stabilization phase for crypto. Seems like a lot is brewing right now that's beneficial for the JPEGs.
Yeah, I think culturally you're bang on too. It feels like there's a movement happening right in front of our eyes. And that saying that was, what is it? Slowly, then suddenly, things start to happen.
Just slowly, then all at once.
Yeah, slowly, then all at once. And then, things start to happen. It definitely feels like there's stuff happening in NFTs right now. It has been insane. I don't want to say that it kicked it all off, but one of the things that happened on December 31st, and this to me might have actually been the biggest. We did our recap show on on this morning, on the morning of the 31st. But this might have been the biggest news had it happened a little bit later. Eminem buys a Bored Ape for $450,000. Eminem is a big deal, especially just in pop culture and society. He really did start this like big cultural revolution of like bringing hip hop not only into the mainstream but like into like serious serious airtime in on MTV and Much Music and all of that stuff. The crazy thing about this is he bought his doppelganger of an ape. And I mean, if you guys haven't seen this yet, you got to go check it out because it is him to a T. It wears his like signature hat. It's a white ape. It's got like a kind of that cool jacket on with a gold chain, and like right below it on the Decrypt article is Marshall Mathers to a T. How do you feel about this? This is like I think that this could have been the biggest news of the year, especially because it happened on December 31st.
With the exception of Visa buying a CryptoPunk, this is the biggest NFT purchase in history. Eminem has 22 million followers. You could kind of compare this to Jimmy Fallon, who actually has more followers, but I think the difference here is that Jimmy will make the brand aware. He'll make it aware to all the normies and mainstream people who aren't really part of the hype boy world, but Eminem will actually sell apes.
Yeah.
All right. He has an influence on culture, and especially these, I think the first people who are going to get into NFTs from the mainstream culture are the Supreme Gang, right? We've already seen it to an extent, and they're called hype boys. And I'm not saying that with a negative connotation. It's just the fashion. Right, exactly. And I think those are who's going to get into NFT first. And Eminem is a huge signal that this is beginning. I had said last month, I think January, we're going to go parabolic, and the main driver is going to be celebrities adopting apes. I think it'll be mostly apes. Obviously, you'll see cool cats and some punks and stuff. I think everything's going to rally together. But I think the main driver is going to be Bored Ape Club. Bored Ape Yacht Club, which through the whole first quarter has so much news. I think January will be about celebrities, and then obviously we have Ape Coin coming. I think Mutant Dogs are going to be coming in January as well. So this is what I really think is driving things. Now, over the weekend and yesterday even, everyone started to feel like, usually after 3 days of up only, and it is literally been 3 days of up only. There has been barely a pullback in any collection that's mooned. It's been a rolling pump from one collection to the other. They seem to be holding their floors. Now, I saw a lot of people getting cautious yesterday, myself included. I even started to think to myself, damn, I don't want to get caught like I did back in August with no liquidity. I'd better start raising some ETH. I even said in a few alpha rooms, like, yeah, man, everything's moving. Everyone was asking me, what's the next play? What's the next play? I said Ethereum. I said, raise some ETH. Let's be a little cautious. But I saw a lot of people saying the same thing. Hell, R2 came in and said it to me this morning. Shub's pointing it out yesterday. And I thought to myself, man, the sentiment is not like, while it seems everybody's very bullish, if you look at what people are actually doing with their money, they're cautious. I've seen a lot of people taking profits, and I think we're going to get into a situation where people take profits way too early. Things continue to go parabolic. As remember, this is outside money coming into NFT. Eminem's music money bought that ape for $450,000 from a guy who probably turned the fuck around and bought NFTs. Okay.
This is so important. So keep going on this.
NFT
this is like such an important idea.
Yeah. And this is not the NFT money we're used to. We all know how far something could pump when it's just NFT traders, but this is literal outside wealth coming into the market. I think there's a very good chance we go parabolic to we hate being like too bullish. We don't want to be that guy that gets, I'm just trying to look at the pieces here. It seems that Max Payne, and this is something from traditional markets, Max Payne is known as what would hurt the largest percentage of players the most? Because we know the saying, the market's a whore, it tries to fuck the most people, right? So what would hurt the most players? And I think max pain right now would be to just continue to go up. And it's very possible in this market. So while even I was getting cautious yesterday, I would not just take some sort of mind-boggling parabolic move off the table. Look at apes. They're practically at an 80 ETH floor right now. We were literally debating whether they could get to 100. It seems programmed now.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, we just went from that like 40, 50 all the way up to the time that it flipped punks. Now it's sitting at 75 ETH, and it doesn't show any signs of slowing down. Everything to do with that brand, as we keep saying, is we can't go a show without talking about this, because it's just been up and to the right. And Marshall Mathers buying his Eminape, I think is a pretty good sign that it's not slowing down. I mean, what we will get to a point where it crosses some price thresholds where some of the early adopters, or even some people that got in around 10 ETH, might decide that, like, how do I turn down 125 ETH, which is kind of the floor that you've been talking about. But it's hard to believe that that's not going to happen when we start to see news like the next thing I'm going to bring up, and that was another M3 serum being sold, this time for almost $6 million. 1,540 ETH this serum sold for. We were just in awe, like mind blown last week when there was 1,000 WETH offer on one of these that got accepted, I believe, or yeah, it did 999 ETH. That's right. And
no,
I mean,
we were impressed when it went for 777. People were like,
right.
Who would pay 777? I said, guess what? The floor on those ain't 777 anymore. It's a lot higher.
Well, it just doubled. Yeah, it's 1,500 now, I guess, is the floor for the M3. This is a big deal. Again, like, it's just headline after headline after headline. I gotta believe that they're gonna do some kind of fanfare with the next reveal of one of these, and it's just incredible. Like, I am just constantly in shock with what's going on that brand.
My name is Marshall Mathers. I'm an apeaholic. I got mad PNGs and I don't know what to call it, but I hide your wallet because I'm coming quick to strip your seed. Thank you.
All right. I'm impressed, actually. That was pretty good. That was not planned at all. This is a genuine reaction. We're gonna have to do a collab, maybe with a Tropic Speed or something.
Chicka, chicka.
There you go. So yeah, apes continue to impress. That's big news. Some other little news tidbits that I pulled up, especially relevant with what we've been talking about with Critterz, is Square Enix president reiterates focus on blockchain games play to contribute trend. In a recent letter, Square Enix president Matsuda outlined several distinctions between traditional gaming and blockchain games. Pardon me. For those of you who don't know, Square Enix did make the massive series Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts. This is huge gaming IP, especially nostalgic for some gamers from back in like the Super Nintendo days, the PlayStation days, with like Final Fantasy 7, 8, some of the biggest games ever made. Maybe they haven't been quite as prominent lately, but this is a big gaming brand that is pointing their ship at blockchain. Is it a cash grab? Is it just trying to keep up with the times? Remains to be seen, but I think that this is with more of these big businesses kind of adopting these blockchain concepts, I do think that it is more of a trend than a fad.
This is our big trend for 2020, and that's not like necessarily a good thing. I think this is the most obvious trend that's emerging. So in my opinion, these obvious trends, especially the ones that are going to take 3 to 5 years to play out, people get ahead of themselves. So I could definitely see P2E getting white hot in the first quarter, and then it just becoming too obvious a meta that we shift to something else. There's so many smaller underlying trends, niche trends within the NFT market I think are going to be huge. That doesn't make me bearish on P2E gaming. I just wanted to kind of speak to the macro sense of this trend. And this is, again, very heartening sign. I think you're going to see all conventional gaming companies move into crypto in a big way.
I think they're going to have to. I think that, with people of our age, in our 30s, we grew up watching gaming go from like a little niche category to like literally fucking everywhere. And then I look at somebody my son's age, and gaming is just a fact of life. It's always been a fact of life. And it has also been like multiplayer gaming has also been a fact of their life, which means their social experience has been highly intertwined with gaming. And obviously there's strong comparisons with like the concept of the metaverse when we're talking about things like Roblox or things like Minecraft, or to a lesser extent something like Fortnite, which is a little more self-contained. But I think now they're going to be growing up in this kind of blockchain revolution time. And I think the two go hand in hand so well. And I think that these are trends that, as these kids that are maybe like between 10 and 16 get older, this is going to be something that they want: interoperability, the ability to purchase digital goods and use them across multiple different games and platforms and whatnot. I think that this is going to be very, very important concepts to them. And, I think that you're spot on. We've talked about the gaming being a kind of a big part of the meta in 2022. And I wholeheartedly believe that it will probably even be longer than that.
This is the year of a lot of things, but I do believe this is the year of orcs. One area of P2E gaming that I'm so bullish on is orcs as a blue chip. Like, I think we're going to see a lot of flashes in the pans and maybe even some new like mega players emerge in P2E next year. But as everybody gets into this meta, they're going to look back on what started it, and orcs are such a blue chip in that respect. I think they're really going to moon this year. And boy, the action in orcs, they have not been left out of this bull market the last few days.
No, they really haven't. And I think the important thing surrounding orcs is that I still constantly see discussion around them. Still see people talking game theory, still see people that are entering it being like, I just bought an orc or two. Like, what am I supposed to do? And, people are genuinely intrigued by the Ether orcs. It's not one of those projects that just has that steady user base that has just been playing from the beginning and they just continue to play because they want to. There are definitely new participants in that ecosystem, and I think that you're bang on with orcs being a potential blue chip in the sense that they've led the charge in the gaming space in NFTs. So very, very exciting stuff to look out for there.
We know most of these games. We know most of these games have an endpoint, and I think that's what's so compelling about orcs for me, is that if the game were not played in 2 years, they would still be considered very valuable and important collectibles. So that's just one of my bull angles with orcs, as far as owning them beyond their ability to execute like a Fortnite level game over the next few years.
Yeah, I mean, we had the pleasure of interviewing that team, and those guys are just like sharp. They understand NFTs, they understand gaming, they understand what it takes to build a successful franchise, and they just continue to work and develop on it. I think that they've all gone full time on this, if not most of them, and they continue to add to their team. Also, very important things to look out for in NFT projects. So, we obviously are Ether orc bulls, but nothing negative to say about them, honestly.
Yep.
Last little piece of news that I saw pop up, thanks to Drip Cult for pointing it out to me, was Samsung announces TVs for 2022 with NFT trading capability. 3 models for 2022 feature an intuitive integrated platform for discovering, purchasing, and trading digital artwork. I would have thought it would have just been interesting for them to be integrated to display NFTs. The fact that there seemed to be going in an extra step and highlighting kind of the discovery aspect of it, I think is pretty cool. I don't know if this is going to start moving a lot of TVs. I think for the hardcore NFT traders, if you're in the market for it, it might be a selling feature. But I thought it was pretty neat. I think inevitably some people are going to be buying these TVs and be like, oh, I wonder what this NFT thing is. Just a great kind of like funnel for things. It's Samsung's a legitimate brand, right? Like it's one of those big companies. It's like Adobe with the Photoshop integrating NFTs into their platform too. I mean, I think it's just an important step.
I want to say they're the #1 TV brand in the world, I believe, Samsung.
And #1 phone brand in the world.
Yeah. They sell a lot. It's certainly, it is. I've talked. Okay. All right. All right. So 2022, one of my big trends also was year of hardware. While to R2's point, this isn't the type of hardware I was talking about, I do believe our ability to share, flex, display, have fun with our NFTs is severely limited. I think it's one of the big hindrances to mass adoption, and I think a lot of companies are working on this. And I believe you are going to see it, come to fruition this year. Even I've seen so many people getting acquainted with the infinite objects frames, which are still pretty basic, but they're fabulous. I saw CloutViz displayed his FIWO one, which he got from the Complex Con VIP ticket. I have a few of them at home as well. And I just think it's going to be so huge for NFTs, people's ability to show them off. Because right now you have your phone, computer, and watch, and it's just very limiting.
Yeah, I actually want to get like some kind of dedicated display for some NFTs too. I think that's a huge.
My Astro Boys, man. I need them on the wall.
Yeah, the Astro Boys make a great one. You know what? Actually, I mean, like the project obviously didn't succeed, but even just like the fish tanks, remember those? That would have been cool to just have like a little digital frame on your desk with your fish swimming around on it. That's fucking cool, man.
We should use that concept because someone's going to do that. Like if you look at an infinite objects frame, this idiot was trying to make partnerships with punks and apes. He should have been making a partnership with infinite objects.
I thought that was one of the sticks. I thought he was trying to give one of those to everybody.
Yeah. Was he? Yeah. I know there was some, but this is a concept I really think will work. Like hey, just kaijus alone. Shout out kaijus. If I could get a fish tank with my kaiju swimming around, that shit would be on my wall. I would stare at it all the time. There's something there. There's something there. In business. Fuck fish tanks.
I know. I just saw that too. And I was like, I wonder if In Business is listening right now. And lo and behold, right on cue, writes fuck fish tanks in the chat. We love you.
If you guys can see, we have a private AM show chat for Moon Lounge members, and one of our regulars In Business is heavy in fish tanks, which have a -- floor, as we.
Yeah, they are done. So I think he rugged it and then unrugged it. Doesn't matter. Don't even want to talk about it. Everything else is doing well. Sorry. Speaking of, well, actually, what's that?
Goo did really well in Wolf Game too.
Oh yeah,
Goo took that fish tank money and really turned it into a nice bag.
Yeah, and then partnered up with Galactic Apes to get his fucking token named after him. R.I.P.
What the hell was that?
I don't know. Anyways, last thing I wanted to bring up too was just the interesting Twitter banter that we were talking about in the pre-show of Kobe of former Crypto Cobain fame has been dishing out $10,000 offers to tons of different people who were fudding crypto, blockchain, NFTs. He gets into it with the comments and then basically throws out the I'll send you $10,000 in ETH if you make an address and buy an NFT, and he'll cover the cost of the NFT. And some people have actually been taking him up on this. It was pretty interesting to see people start to get some discovery on it, but it was also pretty interesting to see because you shared this one with me. The one I thought we were initially talking about was the woman that turned it down because she thought it was just fake money and didn't want 10,000 useless dollars. I don't even know what that means, but I guess that's a signifier that people are still not really understanding that crypto can be converted for real money.
Allow me to take you on a journey and read this thread because it is a masterclass in I don't know what. Just allow me, just indulge me for a minute. Kobe tweeted, and we've seen this a lot. This is something that I have heard. I don't know a lot of gamers, but I have heard this within their circles. Is a lot of rancor. The outrage from gamers over the inclusion of NFTs is an astronomical, unwitting vote against self-interests. If gaming companies are able to build more sustainable revenue models without paywall DLC, NFTs can improve player experience even if you opt out of buying them yourself. Great point. Okay. Now, there were a few comments, but eventually Evalia chimes in and says, 99% of the internet is tired of your breed of people shoving crypto and NFT down people's throats, trying to run the next pyramid scheme. Hell Square's statement, Heel Square's statement was met with pure fuck off, just like you should. Kobe then responded, I'll give you $10,000 if you make an Ethereum address and buy a single NFT. I'll cover the cost of the NFT. Let me know if you're interested.
It's funny how quickly her tone shifted after that.
My God, this is a new Avelia here. Listen to this. I would be stupid to say no to such an offer because it's basically quote unquote free money for me. Even if I despise them, I'd be a bigger fool to turn down free money. But why would you give a stranger 10 grand? Much less know I'm not being double fooled. I get it. Then Kobe responds, I guess I am literally shoving crypto and NFTs down your throat like you previously accused me. Open wide and give me your Ethereum address. The next response, 0x7DFA4C9D85A0. Okay. But the main point is quickly this person got a wallet, bought an NFT for 0.05, showed the proof to Kobe. He quickly sent the money for the NFT plus 2.66 Ether worth $10,166.95. And this person went quiet.
And finished it off with, welcome to crypto, you big eco-terrorist. Oh man, I mean, it's that is generally where the fun is coming from the outside, is that there's this idea that NFTs are destroying the environment. I don't know, maybe they are, maybe they're not, whatever. Everything else is destroying the environment too, so I guess I'm not going to die on that hill. But yeah, this thread was just unbelievable. I almost wish you had done the British accent for Kobe, but I'll give you a pass on that one. It's funny how quickly people change their tunes when obviously there wasn't a lot of conviction in her statements. I'm not trying to call her out or anything like that. Like, welcome to NFTs, happy to have you. But her
the subtext amongst her first tweet was, I hate that you have so much money, fuck you.
Yeah, basically.
And then Kobe's subtext was, here's some money. And then hers was, oh, cool, thank you.
Yeah, actually,
so
I want to highlight I want to highlight the initial tweet that he actually put out there that was that started all of this too. Basically, it just said, from gamers over. Did you read this? Sorry.
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did. Sorry. Yeah, I was like, as I was saying it. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a great point, and I think it's something we should dive deep on if we can get some real gamers on the show, because I'm not in the forums or the Discord channels for like hardcore. I don't know if it's Rocket League or for the meta worlds that these people participate in. There really is like
a big pushback for sure,
a rebellion against NFTs, and I'm wondering, do you think it's the companies like putting moles in there?
No,
and I'm not trying to be conspiracy though. Maybe. Like I literally a $1 billion company would do it. Yeah,
100%. If I could kind of trace back some of this, Reddit and gaming seems to be very close to each other, and Reddit is like horribly anti NFT. I don't know if maybe that is just because of the implementation of corporate moles, as you put them, and whatnot, but Reddit does have a very, very anti NFT stance, much like Instagram, where you can't go into that and it's without hostility. But yeah, it's for some reason hasn't been a happy marriage as we think that it can and should be and probably will be. But we'll get there. I think it's a great discussion, though. I think it would be good to almost have like a panel, like an open debate about it, because I would love to hear the anti-NFT sentiment for it. And I wouldn't go into it with the idea that we must change people's minds. I would just want to know, we have a huge bias, right? So I would just like to know what the very strong opposing end of it is. So anyways, that was a great thread. I appreciate you reading that off. And let's just really quickly talk about WGMI. I love this because it is just green across the board. Green, 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 green. 7-day charts are looking beautiful. Top of the list, we got to exclude Adidas Originals into the metaverse because that floor is constantly bugged. It is not 3 ETH. They're still going for about 0.75. NFT Worlds has been absolutely crushing it. This is much in the maybe why we're seeing Critterz have such a strong success too, but this is a same kind of like Minecraft gaming type world. 1 week ago it was a 1 ETH floor. It is now sitting at about 3.2. It got up to almost 4 ETH yesterday. Some big sales going on in that. Very fun to watch that, and I do think Critterz is going to be the recipient of the same kind of swell. Alien Friends, absolutely crushing it up to I think it was 0.9 yesterday. Settled into about 0.8. Maybe on the back of some unfortunate hack news in their Discord, which we'll get into later. Lemon Friends doing some big work. Got up to 0.5 floor the other day. Yesterday, I don't even know what day it is. Was that the first?
No, it was 2 days ago. It was Saturday.
Yep.
We're at 0.3 right now, but Lemon's really, I mean, they just took a big leg in mindshare. Farouk hopped in the Lemon spaces.
We'll get into
500.
Oh yeah, go.
No, we had 500 people
on the spaces,
in that spaces, and mind you, the most we had ever had is about 60 or 70, and this was a coming out party for Lemons. They seem to have found new support between 0.25 and 0.3. They've dipped a few times down there and are quickly bought up. Anything could happen, but it really felt like a coming out party this weekend for the Citrus.
Yeah, we'll definitely dive a little bit deeper into that too. Also, the recipients of a hack that didn't grab much attention, but we'll talk about what happened there too because it's important. One that like we keep bringing up from time and time again. Like I hold no stake in it, and I wish we did because what was it, a month ago? 2 months ago, we were like, oh, Forgotten Runes Wizard Cults. This was like maybe around Legend Map time. It was like doing pretty well. It was like, up from like 0.2 to 0.5, like, oh, let's keep an eye on it. And it just like, then it was at 0.8 and now it is above 2 ETH. And I saw some big sales on the whale watching tracker on the Moon Lounge Discord area. And this thing, it never seems to have that like hype cycle where it's just in everybody's face. But it has just consistently gone up and to the right over the past 90 days, 60 days, somewhere in there. Like it's been wild.
This is the type of collection that like every other ramp should be like this. We've seen so many times if you get that violent hype cycle early, you're going to go through a quiet period where your floor crashes and a lot of people get dejected. They sell, they dump, they get bored with the project, what's going on, blah, 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 blah. You want these slow, steady ramps because the floor in Forgotten Wizard's Rune is extremely stable. Like that is, I would never worry about, waking up to that floor dipping 50% overnight because this was just slow, constant accumulation. And I think maybe on our second or third show ever, we talked about Forgotten Wizards, and I had pointed, I said, this is one of my favorite picks. I think this is going to be huge. It's some of the best art when we're talking about pixel Dungeons and Dragons-esque art. It could be the best. Every time it's always remarkable to me how good it is compared to the competition. I think orcs are the only thing that come close in that realm. It's really collection more than a trade for you. And I do hold a lot of stuff, but what in particular, the first thing that makes me consider something more of a hold than a trade is the type of whale interest you see. We like to watch the whale watching channel and then laugh about, oh, Steve Aoki's in, it's the top, or oh, Gary is in, it's the top. And any one sale or any one day is not a signal for anything. But when you see slow and constant accumulation by people like Pranksy, you know that this is a project that's going to have legs. That's why I was always bullish on Forgotten Wizards. And yeah, it is a blue chip project in the making.
Do you have any of them?
Maybe.
Huh?
Not in any known wallet.
No, I think you're completely right. I mean, I'm looking at the activity. It is just solid, steady. I mean, there were some points in time where there was only a couple of day being sold of them, but like you said, the floor didn't like drop out of the bottom out or anything. But when you're looking at this like 90-day chart, and charts aren't always super informative on OpenSea because it's looking at the average price, not the floor price. But it is just like you could just draw a very nice trend line, like just steady up and to the right. 90 days ago, we were looking at average sales of about 0.5. And yeah, here we are at average sale price of 0.27 as of yesterday, was up to over almost 3.5 a couple days before New Year's. So this is just a project that continues to surprise me. We don't talk about it a lot. Nobody seems to be talking about it a lot, but it's always there. It's always there. It's always on this chart of 7-day change, 20%, 30%, 90%, 40%. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. I'm not going to buy any, but I mean, it's a fascinating project because they just seem to be doing the right things. Crypto Mori's also having a really good week. Got up to, I think you said almost a 0.9 floor before dropping down a little bit. Bored Ape Kennel Club is killing it, almost 8 ETH floor right now.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, that and Mutants has just gone on an absolute tear. Mutants is at 16 ETH floor right now. We were just talking about that crossing over the 10 ETH threshold not too long ago. Kaiju's doing really well. Galactic Ape's having a bit of a bounce back, but yeah, I mean, I could just go on and on and on and on. WGMI doesn't even show all of the projects that we talk about, but they, it's green. And if something is down on the 7-day trend, I would be looking at that project and wondering why. Maybe it was an inflated floor prior to, but yeah, the down is thin. Down is thin. Pudgy Penguins is the standout.
Yeah, we've had a lot of good news today. I have to, unfortunately, deliver some bad news. If your project was not up this weekend, you could stick a pin in it. It's done. If you couldn't catch a bid this weekend, you might as well send it to the hidden folder.
Yeah, it could be the case for sure. I've got a couple of them where I'm like trying to poke it with a stick, like what's do something, please, even if it's just for exit liquidity. But that's all right. They're not all going to be winners.
I'm kidding. There are certainly some projects that haven't mooned yet that are going to. A few that I like. I mean, there's stuff still to buy out there, and we'll get into that. But I do want to shout out Dark Illidan right now. He's bringing up Magic, which is something that, we were going to talk about during the show. So I really screwed up my small brains, which is the monkeys that are very popular right now. This is considered a blue chip, the first Magic NFT. Gary Vee got into it, right? And mind you, Magic was 50 cents not too long ago when we were first watching these things. It got up to $6 yesterday. So the underlying assets priced in Magic, which have seen not only no dip, but have actually gone up in Magic terms while Magic has rallied. Now, I screwed up my small brain, never got to claim them. But I was on the swole bodies list. And I knew that, you have a lot of time to claim these, and I did happen to go claim them this weekend. And my small bodies are worth $10,000 fucking dollars as of right now. So if you are on the swole, if you're on that swole bodies list and you haven't minted, big shout out to Traveler. We need to get you on the show. If you would even like to come up right now and talk about swole bodies, small, and Magic, you are welcome. Throw your hand up if you want. If you're busy, that's cool. We need to have you on the show soon, even if we do a separate interview with you. If you guys don't know, there's a new project coming up called the Enjoyers. And this is going to be another Magic treasure ecosystem project. So if you missed Small Brains and Swole Bodies, you better get in that Enjoyer Discord now and work your ass onto that whitelist. I have heard rumors we may have some whitelist spots here in AM to give away, but that is the next big Magic treasure ecosystem drop. So amazing. Just it's really unbelievable what has happened there. As far as these were free mints, and not only are these free mints, these are free mints on an L2 called Arbitrum. You know, I'm notoriously anti L2, but about when we started this show, I talked about Arbitrum because I know, not personally, I just know them from Twitter and through other people, the guys who started Arbitrum. They are incredibly smart. They are L1 loyalists. The Arbitrum system is always something I was very, very excited about, and this is the premier NFT ecosystem on there. Magic is the star coin on Arbitrum right now, and Gary V got in. I mean, he sent the small brains flying. He sent Magic to $6, and they're all staking plays. If you stake your small brains, you earn Magic, right? Now, this isn't the case with Swole Bodies yet. I believe that is coming soon. I'm not 100% sure, but man, just you can't say enough good things about this whole Magic thing. I am so sad I missed my small brains, but I got my Swole Body staked. I'm earning plates, and it's incredible. I can't wait for Enjoyers.
Yeah,
we're gonna be talking about that a lot, dude, over the next few days.
I minted a project a while ago. Some of you will probably remember, called Fud Farm. Had a really interesting vibe in the Discord.
Yes.
It was a staking thing where you earn some crop, blah, blah, blah. There's more to come for it. They have continued their roadmap, not to a ton of success, but they integrated, or they partnered with Magic in the treasure ecosystem. And that was a huge thing. There was this great swell of in the floor price and lots of exit liquidity. And I thought to myself, no, I've heard too many good things about treasure and Magic. I am sticking around for this one. I minted 10 of them for a pretty low price. And shame on me for not paying attention, because it sounds like that partnership has either been put on the back burner or completely dissolved. And they're, kind of going their own way. And it feels dead now, and I can't even exit it. But that was very disappointing to find out, because that was one of the main reasons why I decided to hold that project. But it just seems to be a brand that's popping up everywhere. Is into everything and just does so well. And Gary V actually just continues to be somebody that moves projects in the positive and kind of recreates a pretty solid floor around them. We joke about maybe Steve Aoki being the top, and quite often it does feel like Steve Aoki is the top, but Gary V seems to have kind of a different kind of magic around him when it comes to his fan base jumping into projects. So definitely some things to watch out for. I also just wanted to shout out Traveler, not feeling so well right now. So we will bring him up on stage or do an interview with him when he feels ready to, if he wants to, because we want to learn more about it and discuss it in depth, because I think it's something that's not going anywhere. So, but yeah, Traveler, hope you feel better soon, my friend. Okay, so let's get into something that you've been looking at quite closely, and that's the Illuminati NFT. Some interesting things surrounding this project. You brought it to my attention, but a lot of talk in the Degen Dojo this morning about minting it and what it could do. I believe the mint price is going to be 0.23. There's some ways that you can still mint them. If not, the public sale is coming up. The floor is sitting at 0.35 right now, with about 140 ETH in volume traded. I have no idea what this is. Please fill me in.
Okay, so I will give you the bull case on these, which is relatively short, because this is a pretty secretive project.
Which is pretty on brand.
I have to go look at the date when I minted this thing, because I forgot. I want to say it was 3 weeks or a month ago, but somebody I trust, who I'm not going to name, sent me a DM, and he was like, there's about to be a stealth drop of these things, just do it. And the mint price was 0.23. I was like, you sure? He was like, no, trust me for this. I was like, all right. I went and I looked, and there's not a lot of samples, but the art that I saw actually looked really great. It's very my style. So I was like, all right, whatever. You know, worst comes to worst, I'm going to end up with some art I like, which does guide a lot of my NFT decisions, unlike the traders out there. So I bought one. But like, this was an NFT world a million years ago. It's been sitting in my wallet. I kind of forgot about it. I'm like, are these things ever going to do anything? But just over the last couple weeks, as they get closer to their official whitelist mint and their public mint, we've seen people talking about them. So my first case here is that people I very much trust told me to buy these things and said that there's something big going on here that isn't obvious, right? Okay, so that's cool. Number two, the art, pretty good. And the implication here is that it's not just the art you're getting. This is either going to be a mint pass or some sort of membership pass. I don't know if it's a club. I don't know if it's going to be like some sort of NFT club DAO thing. I don't know. No idea here. All right. But I know there's more to it than the image. Okay. So if you're wondering, should I spend 0.23? Well, it's not just the JPEG. Finally, they own @Truth on Twitter. I don't know if this seems like a big deal on its face, but getting a single word Twitter profile like Truth is not easy. They either spent a lot of money or have very big connections. All these three things together kind of make it pretty interesting to me. There are a lot of projects that are whitelisted for this. Mm-hmm. You should go check it out yourself. We're talking 10KTF, 888 Inner Circle, Adam Bod Squad, Animetus, Ape Kids Club, Astroheads, Bonsais, Kaijus, Robotos, Lemons, Wanderers, Subducks, like pretty much every hot collection, and some that I'm raising my eyebrow up as to why they're even on here, are on the whitelist. You just have to connect your wallet, verify your NFTs, and you can mint them. It is an 8,128 generative collection. 50% of the mint and secondary royalties are going into the Illuminati Collective, which is a governance DAO for the community. Pretty typical, not reinventing the wheel here, but given all of that, I bought one. I think I'm actually going to buy more today, as the NFTs I own give me the right to buy more of them. I want a few of them so that I can ideally flip some if they get a pop, and then keep one as a membership card or mint pass. I will put the website as well in the general chat. It is an expensive mint, but that is what I know about it. And honestly, it's more one of these things like when this person said, just do it, trust me, I kind of just did it. And that's not necessarily a signal for you guys to do it, but that's been my thinking with Illuminati. The pre-sale starts today. The public sale is tomorrow. And like I said, I really like the art style. It's going to be subjective. It's all about whether you like it, but it hits me right in the
NFT feels, for sure. Yeah, I think I'm going to mint this. I've got a couple of projects in my wallet that are whitelisting, and I think I'm going to go for it. That is going down at noon Eastern time. So in about an hour and a half, you'll be able to mint that. Go check out the website. Might be something you're thinking about. Like you said, not cheap, but if you have a little extra quiddity going on, might be worth it. These aren't flying off the shelves in the pre-reveal yet. Obviously, that's because there's a big mint phase about to happen. But sitting comfortably above the floor right now. And, it seems to be one sells every couple hours. Weird. Literally. Oh, I just popped up literally on the stream as I was watching it for 20 seconds ago. A 1 ETH sale pre-reveal on these just happened.
That's so weird.
It's not, because it's number 666. This was intentionally
okay. Grabbed. That's not weird.
I mean, for Illuminati and those kind of vibes, exactly. That makes sense. So yeah. Funny.
It does.
It did catch me immediately, being like, "What the fuck do people do this for?" And I was like, that makes sense.
If there is something like deep going on, they keep hinting. I don't know if it's going to be like a famous artist or person behind it. I don't know if it's going to be like a mint pass for some big project or something. But there really does seem to be some smoke here, like that this is something special. It's an expensive mint, so figure out.
Definitely
figure it out. Well, Shubs posted a little hint here that says, if you are having issues and have both Coinbase and MetaMask wallet disable the Coinbase extension and try again. What this could be hinting at is maybe this is related to the FTX marketplace that we've been hearing a lot of rumors about. I don't know how it would connect. There is smoke behind this project. Let's just say that something interesting is going to happen here. It is not like it's very expensive. I don't know what type of hook it would be, but like R2 said, if you got a little extra liquidity, I think grabbing one of these things is good to have in your wallet. Personally.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't drain your entire wallet for it, but definitely take a look. You know, and you're not obligated to max mint 3 of them either. You can just peel one off.
No, yeah, especially if it's a membership pass to something, you really only need one.
Yep. Very cool stuff. We'll keep an eye on that noon Eastern today. Watch out for it. Let's talk about the Little Lemon friends now. You know, there was a Twitter Spaces that was started on Saturday, New Year's Day, early or late in the morning, early afternoon, by someone who I think Haley. She frequently hosts these Twitter Spaces, right? And she was lamenting the fact that she had to sell one of her lemon friends, not really sure why. And the joke throughout it was that this was the kickstart of a giant bull run for Little Lemon friends. You wrote a really great Twitter thread to Gary V, who didn't acknowledge it, but it did get some exposure to Farouk. Farouk jumped into the Twitter Spaces live, brought tons of his audience in, and just started going nuts for these things. Like when I say nuts, like he was like, you could see or you could hear him like searching for different traits and finding stuff and be like, oh shit, samurai hat, like, oh, this beanie's sick. Yeah. And then be like, oh fuck, there's like blue cat there. Like, you know, he was going nuts. He started sweeping them. He started buying them. And then it just kickstarted this whole like fiasco on Twitter Spaces. We saw the run up get to, I think it was about 0.5. There were some giant sales on some of the rarer traits. It was a lot of fun, most importantly. And here we are. We've had some ups and downs since then, but it is sitting at a 0.32 floor. This is a massive win. For Lemon Friends, for Scenarius, for the Alpha Mint community, honestly, because, you know, we minted a lot of these and I'm sure some of us have sold, myself included. But
some of us have not.
Some of us have not. And, you know, if you have strong conviction in the plays and you can, you know, you don't need to recoup any of the mint costs, this has been a fantastic journey since they minted about 2 weeks ago. So this has been a lot of fun. But it didn't stop with Farouk. FaZe Bank jumped in. Steve Aoki, who we often joke is the top, jumped in. And ironically enough, he might have actually been the top on this run. Who's that guy's name? Supreme Patty. I'm not sure who he was.
Supreme Patty.
He's got a following.
Instagram following.
Yeah, he shared a video of the Island Boys squeezing lemons and limes into his eyes and taking it like a champ. The whole thing was absolutely ridiculous. It was a ton of fun, it was quite the day. It was an incredible way to start off the new year.
This was a lot of things in my life coming together at once. The Island Boys, who I sing quite regularly, as you know.
A little too often.
Supreme Patty. Yeah, Supreme Patty, who is an influencer in the cannabis industry, which is where I came from. And then the Little Lemon Friends, which is my pet project that I love. This was pretty incredible. I think one of the hugest takeaways here is when R2 described what Farouk was going through, I think this is something we all went through, right? We were all sitting there waiting for the reveal. We were waiting for these traits. And you know how hard traits on a 10,000 PFP collection is, keeping the commons both differentiated and looking desirable is not an easy feat. Scenarius pulled it off as good as Cool Cats or anybody else out there. And Farouk at first was going to buy a few of these. But then he just kept discovering new traits. He had to get more. He even changed his profile picture from his now very, very famous rainbow wig Cool Cat to his new Pharaoh lemon. And of course, he got the Pharaoh hat because he is Farouk. So the Pharaoh hat was very appropriate. But the most we've ever had in one of these lemon spaces was about 60 or 70 people. So the fact that we had 500 for hours, people could not get enough. And it was really, we don't know what started the pump. Now, I did write this very long thread the night before the pump started, and it was shared a few hundred times. A lot of people saw it. And there were some interesting Anon genie sweeps that actually got everything going. This wasn't an influencer pump in the beginning. This was all of a sudden lemons started moving in the morning, as many collections had, but it was parabolic in a way like few others. And once the influencers jumped on, of course, it got a little ahead of itself. On its first run, it got up to 0.27, pulled back to 0.08 when volume got really quiet. And then it settled around 0.1, 0.12 for a while. Now it rocketed to 0.5, and it's been trying to find support between 0.25 and 0.3, which it's held pretty well until now. I would not be shocked to see it dip down to 0.2, even 0.15 if volume goes away and NFTs see a few bearish days here. But if it could even find support between 0.15 and 0.2, that's a huge win. I expect this to be much more like Forgotten Wizards runes, where it's just this slow grind, bottom left to top right, versus like that really violent initial hype cycle. I mean, I could see it popping to 1E if Gary does reveal that was his Anon wallet aping yesterday morning.
He does do
but
that
in general,
sometimes,
I see
right?
this
Like
as a very slow. I know. Whatever. I know things, but I do think this is going to be kind of a slow grind up as licensing, merch, pixel lemons, all these things become available. I haven't sold one lemon. I don't intend to. I'm not saying anybody else shouldn't. In fact, when I was in the Kaiju Alpha room on Saturday, I was telling people to sell, especially if they were trading. As you know, these things always get ahead of themselves. There's always short-term froth. And when big influencers get in, it's a really good time to take short-term profits if that's how you're trading.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, whenever you get a giant run up, and remember, these minted at 0.025. So, I mean, at the peak, they were up 20x. So essentially you could have minted 20 of these and covered your cost basis and then taken some profits with just selling one. If you're ever at the point where you feel like you're overextended on something, you don't have to hold all, if like I minted 15 of them. As much as I believe in this project, like I'm not holding all of them for 1 ETH or 2 ETH or 10 ETH or whatever, right? Like I've recovered my cost basis and now I feel pretty comfortable holding the rest of them. Like don't risk ruin over waiting for a moonshot on something. It's
who would do that? Who I asked?
Pure degens. I've done it myself. Hey, that was one of the first things that was hard for me to overcome, was just this idea of like it could keep going up. It could keep going up. Like sometimes you just gotta like take some of the money. You don't have to take all of it. I'm not saying you gotta move hard in and out of every project. That's for your own style to decide how you feel comfortable with. But just there's no shame. Nobody should feel shame about selling any of their lemons into this pump.
Once something has gone 30 or 40x, like squeezing the last gains out of it is not positive EV. Even if you're successful once and again, your risk reward is really shifted. Like, let's say theoretically you've gone 40x and you think it can go another 2 or 3x. Aren't there like 100 other things in NFTs that are going to go 2 or 3x that week? There's no reason to leave in like ungodly sized bag in something if you've already gotten the majority of it. So, manage that bankroll.
The weekend was not all roses for Lemon Friends, though. I think it was last night, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, or early this morning. There was a Discord hack in the Lemon Friends community as well as the Alien Friends community. And they handled it very well. They seemed to get control of things pretty quickly, and I don't think that too many people, if anybody, bit on the fake mint that was posted. I guess it was like some Apple Friends or something, some kind of like derivative.
It was so bad.
Yeah,
Little Orange Friends were better. That's how bad this was. I would have minted Little Orange Friends over whatever this fake bullshit collection was.
The long and short of the hack
yeah, no.
is there's a theme here, and we've talked about it with Bored Apes time and time again. Do not share your fucking screen with anybody. It should be the number one red flag when dealing with DMs, with dealing with anybody. Like if they're asking you to push random buttons, show random screens, like please, this is just like this is like red flag 101, number one, top of the list. Don't share your screen with people. It's the easiest way to just get completely duped. If you're sharing your screen with anybody, you better damn well be sure that they're, you know, your best friend in the world, and you know that it is actually them. It's their Discord ID. Call them on the phone, whatever you need to do. Just don't share your screen. People are getting taken way too much with these scams. This was a pretty sophisticated one.
Holy crap.
Like
Read this. If you guys have not read this, please go into the AM show chat, or I'll post it in the general, and read this thread. This was insane, and you could see how it could kind of happen to anyone unless you just employ the best practices, okay? Which, like R2 just said, never share your screen.
Right. So the long and short. Can I just go over how it happened?
Go ahead.
The long and short of it is basically like if there's a team member that has access to your Discord, basically the scammers target that person. They go into another Discord that initial member is in, not, you know, off the project Discord. They convince that Discord to ban the person. They start, you know, false accusations of claims and of scamming and stuff like that. They then impersonate a mod from said Discord in DMs to, you know, the person's trying to get unbanned. They're trying to figure out what happened, like why am I banned, blah blah blah, and then they start talking. And then, you know, now the person who's being the victim is now on the defensive. They're trying to prove their innocence, right? And like, oh, how can I prove I didn't do this? Like this was all. So now, you know, they're willing to jump through some hoops to do this. And they get on there, they convince them to share their screen. Again, this should be A1, top of the list. Don't do it. It exposes some elements in the Discord that bypasses the 2FA and, you know, passwords. That seems like a big security flaw that Discord maybe should shore up. And then boom, they get access to the control to the initial person's Discord. They turn on webhooks in the Discord, and like shit hits the fan. Please don't share your screen. That's all I got. Go. You there?
If you are starting a project, it would do you very well to hire somebody like Akon, okay? Akon has made a very, very comprehensive and good list, which will not be shared. This man should be paid for these type of consulting jobs. But there is a list of best practices that every single project should employ before they open their Discord, and you need to do regular checks that everybody is keeping up with these practices. This can wreck your entire community. This could kill the entire project you have worked months to build. So far, everyone has responded to these hacks well. People get paid back. It hasn't caused, I would say, too much. It hasn't ended too many projects yet, but it just feels like we're working up to something really big and awful happening. And we could see that it happens to any project, even with the best intentions. And the reason is because you need help. It's, you know, you eventually have to hire people who aren't your best friends, who aren't people you know really, really well. And it's not that these people want to do something malicious, but the more people you hire, the more chances someone's going to screw up. So you really need to find a consultant who understands security with both Discord and Ether and technology. Have them consult for your project. Akon's a great guy to call. I don't want to put him, if he doesn't have time, of course, I don't want to be offering his services. But, you know, if he put together a small package for projects, I think it was very, very profitable for him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and a great job on Lemon Friends getting to the bottom of this very quickly, figuring it out. I'm assuming shutting it down with minimal damages to not only their community, but the funds of their community, and then sharing how it all happened. I mean, they put a pretty comprehensive list together of all of the steps and things that you should look out for. And that's really what we need in this space is just number one, just awareness. And like we've said this time and time again, like one of the hard things about this space is there's so many actual too good to be true moments where like it is legit and you can hit these moonshots of 100, 1,000x. You know, with SHIB we saw somebody turn 8,000 into, you know, becoming billionaires and stuff like that. It's obscene. Right. Like in years past, you know, if we go back 15 years ago, that would have just never existed in people's minds. You don't turn $8,000 into 8 billion or 5 billion or whatever it was in the span of a year. But those opportunities, as rare and as difficult as they are to hit, do exist here. That's why when these too good to be true opportunities that end up being scams happen, it's a little bit easier for people to fall for. So make sure that you have your guard up, especially when you're dealing with people that you don't know that are contacting you. Nothing good ever happens in DMs, as you say all the time. Nobody wants to make you rich in the DMs.
Crypto is the only market I have ever seen where it gets easier to make money over time. I want you to listen to that, play it again in your head, and understand that this has never happened before in human history. It is getting easier to make money in crypto every cycle. The bar for making money in crypto right now is participate. How much free money has the members of Alpha Mint been handed this year, whether we're talking about orcs or Critterz or the ENS airdrop or SOS, or if you owned apes, $5 million was airdropped to Beaker over the weekend. Unreal. Participation is all you need to get fabulously fucking wealthy in crypto. And it's literally getting easier as the years go by. Usually efficient markets become harder and harder to game. It will happen eventually, but right now we are in a very interesting spot. And the same way a billionaire was made from $8,000 on a shitcoin last year, this year, which will be the year of NFTs. If you thought last year was crazy, strap your tits, because this year is going to make last year look like a fucking test run.
Great segue. When you mentioned participation is sometimes all you need. Let's just get right into the final topic that we have, and that is Critterz. We talked about this pretty in depth last week. It is not only still going strong, but maybe going stronger than ever. A community-funded liquidity pool was set up for Block where you could trade it. And I think that you and I can both be in agreement that that has exceeded our expectations on what these things are worth. You know, it is finding price parity with the plots, and there is some discovery going on there. But it has steadily maintained a $1.25-ish per block price. It got up to as high as about $1.70 for a little bit there. Some of the candles are touching $2. Liquidity is growing. It's at $125,000 in the pool now, so it might get a little bit more stable. But this is turning out to be a gigantic winner, not only in the price of the Critterz going up. Right now, we're seeing a 1.52 ETH. Remember that this was a free mint not less than a week ago. And this is turning out to be a huge win for anybody that took part in it. Huge shout out to Lucas, who is constantly dropping these bombs in our Discord in the dojo degen. This has been fabulous. I mean, you know, people are earning money just off trading them. People are earning tons of ETH off of renting them out, passively gaining blocks, buying plots that they're building on and selling them. Like, this is just something that is growing. And I think that we're seeing a lot of it kind of off the back of NFT worlds doing the same thing. But I think that this has a pretty bright future. It's not perfect. The Minecraft server that they are hosting is experiencing some difficulties. It is not exactly fun to play at the moment, but they do have some updates coming for the Discord. They do have a roadmap that they publicly put out. One of the things that I was happy to see was that they are going to be adjusting the block earnings based on your activity rather than just passively being in there. That's going to put some emphasis on actually participating in the game in a meaningful way. But I really like what they're building, and I really think that you know, if they shore up some of the server issues, this could continue to be a hit. And you know, as much as I would love to take the free exit or the big exit here for myself, I think I'm gonna stand pat for a little bit.
Okay, so I come from traditional markets and I had two main strategies. Okay, my first one was finding industries that have been left for dead and have gotten too extreme on the bearish side. This year, I made all my money in natural gas and failing quote unquote retailers like Nordstrom's or Dillard's. And that's the other thesis was disruption, right? And that's what Critterz is to me. This is a disruptor, and it's a disruptor for two main reasons. I've talked about the analogy before of why Christianity became the world's preeminent religion in the West at the time, and it was because the pagan religions that dominated were not told to stop doing their traditions or celebrating the way they were celebrating. They were just told to add Jesus's name to the end of what they were doing. And that's what's happening right now with crypto. You can see how the public reacts to crypto and NFT gaming as Colby displayed over on Twitter over the weekend. But if Minecraft, which is an existing property that has millions of rabid fans around the world, we're not telling you to switch games. We're not telling you to switch protocols. We're just telling you to say ETH at the end of it. This is fucking brilliant, okay? The other disrupting aspect of this is the renting. I tried playing Minecraft for a couple hours. It was mildly fun. I did get bored, but hell, I made like 300 block just moving around for a couple minutes. But now I've rented these things out. And while I'm only earning a third of the block, within a day, I've earned 1,200 from my renters, from renting out 4 of these things, which is about 1,500 bucks right now. And I think that these two disruptive elements of Critterz means it's going to be the next Anonymize, in the sense of it's taken a model we knew was going to be big, which is P2E, and found us 2 disruptive angles that I think make it extremely unique. And I am wildly bullish on Critterz.
Yeah, the future seems really bright with them. I've been playing it when the server's been you know, tolerable, but more so just kind of logging in to keep it active and generate some block for the time being. I definitely think I'm going to buy a plot and maybe have some fun with it. But I mean, I unfortunately don't have enough time to like play it with any kind of seriousness. So the angle that I might end up doing is renting out, like you mentioned. But very, very great execution of all of this. They got to figure out some of their issues to make the game actually playable, and then I think the sky's the limit with this. Some big supply constraints going on. It did hit 2 ETH last night, and you know, there is going to be a cycle where all of the rented NFTs kind of come back on the market. They are locked up for 7 days. That's the rent cycle for them, which will allow people to kind of relist them and put them back on the market. So you kind of see the ebbs and flows. But if this thing dips aggressively, I think that I'd be pretty comfortable re-entering with some more liquidity.
So there is, I believe, a staking lockup that ends tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure why. I thought this game's been out less than a week, and I know rent, you know, when you rent, it's a 1 week rental.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are anticipating a dump tomorrow as people unstake. And it was sitting at 1.5 ETH last time I looked. But if the Critterz are still sitting there, we could anticipate people taking profits tomorrow. So I guess I would just note that I claimed my block this morning, and I was actually trying to figure out what's the better play here. Do I sell the block and maybe try to buy it back tomorrow if people dump, or do I just purchase more land? And I decided to not try to overthink it. I just purchased more land and decided if I believe in this project long term, I'm not really going to trade around it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's the route that I'm going to go to. The land seems like a good opportunity. There's still tons of it left, but it will eventually dry up, and things will be good. The other thing that I think was important to note I believe, if I recall correctly, that the team wouldn't have even gotten any of the OpenSea royalties yet. Now, remember, this was a free mint, so I'm not sure what their initial capital was to start up with. I would guess it's probably pretty low, but there's a lot of volume on this project, and they will have access to some funds to kind of beef things up pretty soon if they haven't already started leveraging against that to begin with.
I wouldn't worry about that. When we were trying to figure out the Critterz thing, because this was a free mint, it was relatively stealth. We didn't know about it till Lucas dropped it in the Degen dojo. So while we were trying to figure it out, we learned that the creators are Y Combinator alums. This would kind of imply that they're Silicon Valley people who probably have the money to fund something like this. It seems like a passion project for them, and that's what I think is going on here. It's what made us kind of so confident to Ape. So I wouldn't be too worried about the team being underfunded in respect to building out this project.
It's cool shit nonetheless. We are running an hour and 15 minutes. We better get the Q&A session going, unless there's anything else you want to quickly touch on.
Yeah, I would really like to talk about Cool Man's universe for a second, because there was just so much over the weekend that I don't even think we're gonna have time to touch on. Astro Boys, Creature Toads, Bad Bunnies, so many cooks, but Cool Man's really had a moment here. It had been sitting around 0.15 after the shine came off the Apple. A bunch of other collections were launching, and then Alien Friends especially has been the talk of the town. They almost got up to 1 ETH.
Wow.
It seems like it was more than just the Gary. Yeah, it seems like it was more than just the Gary pump in relation to Alien Friends, because they have really seen sustained buying since then. But Cool Man's had started its move as well, and I think it got up to 0.66 at one point. And I want to give a huge thank you and shout out to Jake Udell of Metalink Labs, which is launching soon. I know a lot of us tried out their year-end wrap-up, which was so cool. This was like a Spotify, what have you listened to this year thing, except for NFTs. People were sharing these across every alpha room, all over Twitter. Big shout out to Adam. And a big shout out to Jake, who put, and Charlie as well.
Charlie. I was going to say, don't forget Charlie in this conversation.
You can't forget Charlie, man. This was so well executed and so well done. And Jake actually gifted us a bunch of whitelist spots for Cool Man's universe. I know we all minted them very happily. And they held a spaces as well over the weekend. I hopped in there. I got to talk to Cool Man, Coffee Dan for a few seconds. I told them my opinions on the project. And I'll tell you, the one thing I heard around multiple alpha rooms this weekend was next doodles. And when you look at the quality of this art, and if you had listened to Cool Man, Coffee Dan speak on this spaces, this guy's good. This guy is a culture. He is a force. And I do think these have the potential to be the next doodles. I have 4 of them. I have not sold one. And I just wanted to give a big shout out to Jake for those whitelist spots for AM. Thank you. Go check out Metalink and Cool Man's Universe. What a cook over the weekend. Basically holding about a 0.5 floor right now, and I see big things coming in the future.
0.48 right now, and this is one of those projects that I mentioned in the wrap up that's going to have a big 2022. Wasn't expecting it to be this soon, but I guess everything is having a big 2022 at this point. But it was running up. It felt like it could go to that 1 ETH floor. Into all of that volume, I really just didn't want to sell any of them. Like, I could have, it would have been a great little win for me, but I do want to see where this can go. I do have my one, like, I guess sort of rare. The rarity traits on this are weird listed. And if it sells for what I've listed it at, I'll be more than happy. But yeah, definitely content with holding.
That was what I brought up to them. I thought this was my I was like, what can I say on this spaces? My smart point was, I was really impressed with how you guys did the rarities here. You really flipped it on its head. There's so many rare traits that it really smooths out what I believe will be the value of this collection over time. Whereas the floor, normally in a collection, you have the floors very low and then you have the rares very high, and you add that together and you get your market cap. I think it's going to be a pretty smoothed out average just based on how many rares there are and how fucking good they all look. These species are next level art. Really, really great artists, really well done, and we are very bullish on Cool Man's universe.
Yeah, very bullish on it. Sorry, my phone was blowing up. I forgot to put it on silent. Yeah, definitely going to be holding this project for a while, I think, and I think that they do have Doodles potential as well. I think it's too hard to sell them, even the floor ones. Like I said, I have one that's like 900 or 9,600th rarity. Like it's in terms of its rarity ranking is junk. And it just looks so good that I'm like, this is not the one I'm selling. I don't care. I'm not taking floor price for this thing. This is what it is. Okay.
No one. Any questions or comments in the largest bull market NFTs I've ever seen? Everyone's like, nope, everything's going up.
Yeah. So, anyways, on that note, if you want to raise your hands, we'll start bringing you up on stage. I just want to give a quick shout out to everybody that's been part of Alpha Mint. Wave 3 did sell out just before New Year's of last year. Very, very exciting stuff. We are going to be launching the next wave of passes on Wednesday for anybody thinking about joining in. They are close, and I believe the price is going to be 0.15 for passes, so you can keep an eye out for that. If you are overly anxious and want to buy on the secondary market, that is available to you as well. I'm not going to try and stop you, but just know that there are going to be more passes in the very, very near future. Also, very exciting news. We decided this before the bull run, but we did buy a floor lemon the other day. I believe it was on Thursday. We decided to give it away as a kind of promotion, because as I mentioned before and in the announcements, we are going to be switching the show to YouTube, Twitch, and when we find out a good way to do it, Twitter Spaces. Unfortunately, the limitations of Discord are kind of rearing their ugly heads, but we hope that everybody that's in the audience right now makes the transition over there. And if you haven't seen it, like on the YouTube, we do have the visual component where most of what we're talking about is being followed along with. But to celebrate the next wave of passes, to celebrate us going on to YouTube, and just to celebrate a great 2021, we're going to be giving away a little lemon friend. And when we bought that, the floor was very low, and now that this is a pretty valuable JPEG, so we hope to see everybody there. And if you're in the audience, you have a shot at winning that.
Yes, sir. We love giving away lemons. I love introducing new people into the lemon family. So this is going to be a big one. I hope everyone switches over with us.
Yeah, we have some
Google.
Yeah. You love it. We have some other giveaways that we're going to be doing later in the week too. On Thursday, I think we're going to be giving away some merch, and on Friday, I believe we're going to be giving away a Moon Lounge pass to one lucky person who is not already part of the Moon Lounge. So that's going to be really exciting too.
Tell your friends. Anyone who just left early is not eligible. I just saw 5 people.
Yeah, get out of here. All right. If anyone wants to throw their hands up, now's the time to do it. If not, we'll start wrapping up the show. Free Market, I'm going to let you riff for a little second there. I just got to go check on the kid.
So Farouk, who hopped in the Lemon Spaces, is also running his own project. I know a lot of people are aware of this. I know a lot of Alpha Mint members got in on the whitelist, and it was a free mint for the Rug Radio membership. Bit of a cheeky name there. We know rugs are bad, but this is called Rug Radio. And Farouk, who is a kind gentleman and a friend to all, regardless of what some people may say on Twitter. These influencers can get touchy with each other. Farouk is a king. He is awesome. And Rug Radio passes, which minted for free, are now sitting at about 0.07 last time I looked. I know he is minting the second wave of these things, and he's going to be charging 0.1. So it feels like that's kind of the floor it's going to get to, unless people just, start dumping these things. But these are going to be mint passes for other stuff. So this is going to ideally have value down the road as a holder. I did pick up a couple extra ones just in case to flip. But Rug Radio is interesting. That's caught a little bit of a bid over the weekend. This is a collection that I have talked about a lot because I believe it is one of the largest blind spots in the entire market right now. That is from the fragments of Tezuka Osamu. This is a legitimate, verified Astro Boy collection from the original Astro Boy artist. These were put out as squares of randomly generated comic strips. They took all the Astro Boy, not all of them, they took some of them. They grabbed the squares from these Astro Boy comics and put it into a GON. They randomly generated these very cool squares. I've been talking about these for weeks. They were sitting at 0.1 for weeks. They caught a little bid yesterday. This isn't a collection with a lot of volume, so 0.09 to 0.4 isn't as impressive when you understand that, again, this is a low volume collection. These don't necessarily sell easily. I believe these are going to moon so hard this year once people realize that there is a legitimate Astro Boy collection out there. I show these to people all the time. They're like, really? This exists? Showed it to the Kaijus yesterday. I know a bunch of them got into it. I am not shilling because I own them. I am shilling because I am a fan of these. I think they're gorgeous. I think there are not a lot of legacy brands that have done iconic things in NFTs yet, especially on L1. We know that so many of these popular brands like to launch on L2. I just think this is the biggest slept on collection out there. It did have a big pop yesterday, so maybe watch it for a couple days, see if some people undercut, but man, what a nice little move for it yesterday, and I really love these Astro Boy squares. So check that collection out if you don't know it.
Are you talking about Astro Boys again?
Yeah, you left me here. I'm just going to rant about my bag.
I was just surprised to not see any hands up. That's all good. Everybody's just probably digging deep into the NFTs while we're talking, so I'm okay with that. But yeah,
there's too much to buy right
yeah
now. Oh my God.
It's crazy, right? Because we were talking before the show, like what do we talk about? What do we even say? Do we just jump on the stage, go over the Eminem news article and say everything else is up, like see you later?
I can confirm they are definitely not buying NFTs right now. OpenSea is 5-0 forward.
Oh, nice.
So good night to the bull run. It was fun.
Actually, I gotta say,
OpenSea 5.
I've been pretty impressed with the fact that OpenSea has stood up to a lot of the volume that we saw over the last 2 days.
I
think they were, I think they were some record-setting days, and OpenSea going down was not the talk of the town or anything like that. So,
$250 million in volume yesterday.
Was that how much it was? I didn't even see that.
Yesterday.
Wow, they talk about printing money.
$5 million.
God, crazy.
I mean, just crazy.
So yeah, they're gonna start off the first week of 2022 with $1 billion in sales and take their cool $25 million out of that, maybe even more. Crazy.
Yeah, I don't even think we've seen anything. We're gonna see $1 billion days this year.
Oh, 100%.
We're gonna see billion.
With the way that the once the apes start pumping over 100 ETH and they go on a run where people are actually buying these, I mean, you're gonna see, a couple $1,000 in ETH, or sorry, a couple thousand ETH in volume just on that project alone.
Oh yeah.
Johnson threw your hand up right in the last minute there. How you doing, my friend? I think this is your first time up on stage. I think you're muted. If you're talking, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Can hear you now. Yes. Yeah. Welcome to the AM show.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I just found you guys yesterday.
Oh,
but I'm fairly new to NFTs. I'm only like 2 months in.
No, that's an OG in our
this
world.
I had a question. I had a question on Critterz. So I got 2 kids that play Minecraft all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious on if it'd be a good idea to go ahead and get 2 of them, and what your take is on that, and like kind of how you stake that and how that works.
Sure. I mean, I can go over that pretty easily with you, or Free Market if you want to take it away.
No, well, I think you can give a better angle on Minecraft. I would say yes. It just depends on how much your kids care that this is a very primitive version of Minecraft. If your kids are expert players who really love the game, correct me if I'm wrong, R2, this may not be appealing to them.
Yeah, it definitely does depend on
Oh,
it.
okay.
Like, you know, my son has played enough Minecraft that the experience for him is probably a little more important than just like running around doing stuff. So you know, I tried to get him into the server, and it's not having a ton of fun with it, which is okay. So I would definitely figure that out. And also, because we mentioned earlier in the show, the server is experiencing some issues right now, which isn't making it super playable. So you know, that combined with the fact that the entrance point is pretty high on these right now, if you're going to buy them outright, I think a great option is renting them. Though you can rent them, put them in wallets, attach the accounts to them, and see what happens, and they'll be pretty low. I think renting might actually be undervalued. There was a part of me that thought about renting maybe 3 or 4 or 5 of them to get my block generation up higher, while my account was online, just for the fact that the block is so valuable right now and plots are so valuable. So renting might be a great option just to kind of get your feet wet in it too. It really depends on your liquidity situation though. Like, I don't know if you want to buy 2 of these and sink 3-4 ETH into it. You know, if your total liquidity pool is 5 ETH, that's going to be a big chunk of it, but that's up to you.
Now, my kid, who's 4 years old, can't get enough of it. Like, for him, this primitive game is like amazing. So it really just, like R2 said, it's a great option. I'm sure even someone in Alpha Mint may rent you a critter, give it to them and say, hey guys, try this out and see if you like it. If they like it, then I would 100% say it's worth it to start exploring. Now, as we mentioned earlier in the show, there may be a bit of a sell-off tomorrow. I know some Alpha Mint members are eagerly anticipating it and thinking that they're going to move in big if it does, say, pull back under 0.5.6. I personally don't know if it's going to fall back that much, but if you rent one and your kids do seem to like the game, I would absolutely approach an entry or figure out how you want to approach an entry. Of course, as R2 said, it depends on your liquidity situation, as it would be 3 ETH right now to buy a couple, but definitely try it out, because if they do like it, I mean, like I said, I think if you play 8 hours a day, you earn about 500 blocks. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong.
It should be somewhere in
that sounds good. Then I'll try that.
Cool, man. How are you enjoying Alpha Mint so far?
Yes.
All right. I just got in. I think I'm days.
All right. Well, if you need anything, you just let us know. All right.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Thanks for coming up, Johnson. Awesome mouse, by the way. We have an anonymized maxi shoebang in here, so dope mouse.
Cool. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, my friend. I think that on that note, we could probably wrap it up. If there's anything else you want to mention before we kind of do the outro.
No, sir.
We are good to go. All right. Well, thanks so much on behalf of everyone from Alpha Mint. Happy New Year's. This has been a much better start to the year. This has been an insane start to the year for NFTs. I think that this is only just the beginning, and we are so excited for the rest of the year, even though we're only on the 3rd day. As always, we are going to be going live 9:30 every weekday morning. We haven't stopped yet, and no plans on stopping that anytime soon, if not ever. Yeah, like I said, Wednesday we are going to be switching over to YouTube. So please, I hope everybody joins us on there and can come check it out in that capacity. I think it's a really, really great experience in the show. So on that note, Free Market, take us away.
Good luck at the tables, Degens.